Hello everyone, welcome to another installment of my Best of e.l.f. series. I have been going strong with getting all of my e.l.f., basically my entire e.l.f. collection I have been talking about on here, so thank you for bearing with me. Thank you for all of your support and comments and everything. I really appreciate that. Today I'm going to be talking about all of the best and worst of e.l.f. face products. So I'm going to be going over foundations, concealers, blush, bronzer, highlighter, and I'm going to toss in a few sort of miscellaneous things at the end as well that don't really have a category but need to be talked about. So as usual, I have a ton of stuff to get through, so let's jump right in. I'm going to start with like the order that you put it on your face. I'm going to start with primers, which means I'm going to start on a bit of a negative note. I apologize, but I'm going to be real with you. I'm always going to be real on this channel, and gotta tell you when I don't like something. I have 4 of their face primers. I have their mineral face primer, their tone adjusting face primer, which has a purple tint to it. I have their hydrating face primer, which looks like it would be teal, but it's actually clear. And then I have their illuminating face primer, which comes out as gold and very, very shimmery. All of these are just too slippery and they just don't do the job for me as far as a face primer. And I know that some people really do like them, but I just don't. And I've tried them for a long time. I've had this mineral face primer for years and I keep trying it and I keep thinking like, am I biased just because it's an inexpensive one? Because I love my Arbonne primer, I love my Benefit primer, you know, but it just doesn't, it's just not good. And then I bought these ones because they're so pretty and they are beautiful, but they just don't do it. The only one that I might not declutter, like I'm probably just gonna get rid of all of these honestly. The only one that I might not get rid of is this illuminating face primer because I think it would make a really pretty body makeup type of thing, like body glow, because when you like apply it, like, okay, that's what it looks like. It's like foamy almost. But then when you really rub it in, it gets this really pretty glow, and it's way too much for the face in my opinion, but it's really pretty like on the skin. Oh yeah, you can kind of see that shimmer. So on the body, especially like this area, shoulders and stuff, I think it would be really pretty in the summer, so I might keep it just for that purpose, but it's too greasy for a primer. Like once you put makeup on top of it, for me at least, it breaks apart. Like I don't know if you can see, you can't see, but it kind of almost like rolls up and flakes off. It's just not a good primer, so I don't like their primers. I'm very sorry to say that, but I just don't. Moving on to foundations and foundation type products. First I want to talk about this BB cream because I'm not a huge fan of it. It has SPF 20. I'm not a huge fan of BB creams in general though. I think that this one is similar to other ones that I've tried. So if you like BB creams and you want to try e.l.f.'s, go for it. I love the packaging. I love that it's in this tube and it has a pump that is so great. The shade was a little bit too light for me, but when I tried it, I mean, I felt like it wasn't full coverage, so that alone made me not really like it or reach for it that much, but in general it's not a terrible product. So like I said, if you like BB creams, this one would be one you probably would like. I have the HD Mattifying Cream Foundation. This is oil-free. This is what I used in my full face e.l.f. tutorial where I use all e.l.f. makeup and all e.l.f. brushes and all e.l.f. everything. So if you haven't seen that, I will link that below. But this is the foundation I used in that video and I do like it. It's not my favorite. I probably will not be repurchasing this. It's kind of hard to use because of the way it comes, but I definitely will be finishing this one, and I do like this product, and I have the shade Buff. And then the foundation that I absolutely love and I need to repurchase because it's empty is the Flawless Finish Foundation. This is also oil-free. This has SPF 15 in it, and this is also in the shade Buff. This has a pump, which is fantastic. It's a beautiful bottle. I think that helps just feel luxurious, you know, even though it's like a $6 foundation or something. The coverage on this is fantastic and the finish is so beautiful. It just blends into the skin. It looks like skin. It looks so smooth and natural. I absolutely love it. I cannot recommend this one enough. If you haven't tried it yet, I highly recommend it. Okay, so for powders, I'm just going to run through these quickly. I have the pressed powder in caramel. I have 2 translucent mattifying powders in shade Translucent and the shade Tinted. I also have the tone correcting powder in the shade Cool and the tone correcting powder in the shade Warm. And last I have the high definition powder in the shade Sheer. And honestly, the only powders of all of these that I just mentioned that I use on a regular basis is the high definition powder. It is super finely milled. It's a loose powder in here. It comes with a powder puff, which I don't really use. I used to use it. You can tell that I've used it before, but I don't really use it anymore. Now I just use that flat topped powder brush that e.l.f. makes usually, or a Kabuki brush. But it's just a loose powder, and this stuff lasts forever. It's really great. It's good for mattifying. And it's super finely milled, so it doesn't crease, it doesn't look cakey, and I love this stuff, definitely. The other ones I could pass on. This one I really love. Another powder I really love is the High Definition Under Eye Setting Powder. Honestly, I think this is pretty much the same formula as the HD or the High Definition powder that I just talked about. It just comes in a smaller little jar for under eye setting powder, but if you like a translucent powder for setting your under eyes, this is a good one. I prefer a yellow tinted setting powder under my eyes, so I don't reach for this that much, but I do reach for it if I'm going for a super glam brightening look. So like if I want to brighten up that area after I've done my yellow powder, then I will use this. This is the Hydrating Under Eye Primer. I probably could have mentioned this before, but whatever. This is, again, kind of an extra step that's not completely necessary. It's not an eye cream, so I wouldn't use this under your eyes in a replacement of an eye cream. It is something that adds a little bit extra moisture, so if you have super dry skin, or if your skin is especially dry in the winter time, or you're using a matte product, or whatever it is, this is not terrible. Like this does the job. I don't think it's absolutely necessary, but I do like it, and I'm glad I tried it. It has a little bit of a pink tint to it, but it doesn't show up on the skin as any color. And it has a pump, which is very nice. So that's this one. Okay, for concealer, I have 3 of their concealer palettes. 2 of them are complete coverage. One of them is corrective concealer in the shade Neutralize and Brighten, and then the complete coverage ones are in medium and dark. And these are nice, but they have to be applied before foundation. If you apply them over foundation, I find personally that they tend to be greasy and they slide around and they don't work so well. If I apply them before foundation, then they will set and then they'll blend out really well. You know, so take that for what it is. If you're using it to cover up blemishes, it would be good, but if you're using it, if you're wanting it to contour or highlight or brighten, it's not so good, these particular palettes. But like the corrective one is really nice if you are covering up, you know, discoloration and that kind of thing. It is a good one. Just make sure that you give it a minute to sit after you apply it. Make sure you blend it in really well, and then it will do the job. This is the Cover Everything Concealer. This is a nice one too. This one works a little bit better over foundation, but I feel like of all the concealers I have, this one is probably my favorite, honestly, because I'm not wowed by any of their concealers, but this one was $1, so maybe that's why I like it. But once again, if you let it set and dry, it is fairly nice. This is the Under Eye Concealer and Under Eye Concealer and Highlighter. So it has 2 ends. I've noticed a lot of e.l.f. products that are dual-ended. It's kind of fun. One end is a highlight and one end is a conceal. The concealer is too thin and watery, and it doesn't set well. It cakes up under my eyes. I thought I liked it for a while. I was really trying to love it because I love the idea of a product like this. The actual products just aren't that good. This highlighter has a sponge tip applicator, and I thought this would be, again, really great for like brightening, you know, and areas that you want to brighten, but the sponge tip applicator removes product. When you put it on, it takes your foundation off, and then this highlighter is so liquidy that it just doesn't look good. I just didn't like this. This was a fail, unfortunately, so I would not recommend that one. And then I have these 2 concealer sticks, and these are pretty nice. They're really smooth, and if you use a stick form of concealer like this, I would definitely recommend it. I have the shades Honey and Beige. So I've used these under my eyes and I can get them to work. They blend out well with a beauty blender. It's just a little bit too much work for me, I guess. So I don't reach for these that much, but for a stick concealer product, they are nice. Okay, let's move on to the fun stuff. Let's talk about blush first, since that's what's on top of my bin here. Okay, so these are the e.l.f. HD blushes, and I have the shades Superstar, Headliner, and Showstopper. And these are really pretty. But they are really intense. When you pump it onto your hand or wherever you pump it, you get so much product. You get enough for like 25 people, I swear. It is ridiculous how much comes out in one little pump. So in my opinion, it was bad packaging or something like that. But I have seen this at the Dollar Tree, actually, so that's probably why. But when you get the right amount of product, like you pump it on your hand, and I would take like a Q-tip and dab it in it, and then dab it onto your face once, and then blend it out with a stipple brush. And when you get the right amount of product, it's a really pretty product. It does create that natural flush. So if you can not get too much on there, it is a really pretty, it does have a really pretty look. I have a ton of these e.l.f. Studio blushes, and I will insert a picture of all of the ones that I have, and I will make sure to list below everything that I'm talking about. I will list all of the products that I have. I will list colors, I will list prices, I will list links to the website if you want to buy these products. So all of that information will be in the description box, so make sure you check that out. Okay, so I have a ton of these studio blushes, and honestly, I wanted to love these. They're so pretty, they look so pretty, the packaging is so cute, but they're not my favorite. They are very, very powdery, and because of that, they don't last very long. They look powdery on the skin sometimes if they're not blended in right, and if they're blended in, the color basically blends away. So unfortunately, after having these for a long time, I think these are kind of a fail. I'm gonna keep mine just because it's nostalgic. These are some of the first, when I first started collecting makeup a couple of years ago, these are some of the first things that I got, so it's kind of fun and nostalgic. But after having tried a lot of other products and a lot of other e.l.f. blushes, these just aren't my favorite anymore. I would recommend, however, these guys. These are their pressed mineral blushes. I have the shade Cabo Cabana and Wanderlust. These are absolutely gorgeous. They're not too powdery. They pack a good punch, a good amount of pigment, and they last a good amount of time too. I like to put these just kind of on the apples of my cheeks. I sometimes will use a stipple brush, or you can use a powder brush, whatever you're in the mood for, but I really like these pressed mineral blushes. They're probably my favorite. Well, that and one other thing I'm going to mention, but these are really nice. Okay, the other ones that I wanted to mention that are also my favorites are these blush palettes. These are 4-pan blush palettes, and they come in the shade light and dark, and I have both of them. So this is what they look like, and yeah, for my skin tone, I can make all of these shades work. They do pop out, so if you had like a few from one and a few from another that you liked, you could combine them into your own palette, along with any other. e.l.f. makes a bunch of palettes like these. I'm going to show you another one in a second, but they make like bronzer and contour and highlighter palettes, so you can mix them all together, which is kind of fun. But anyways, so I really like the pigmentation of these blushes. They're very nice. And I feel like the packaging is a little bit bulky, but you know, what can you do? It's 4 blushes in a package. So if you look at these colors and you think that you would wear them, then I definitely recommend these. Another one that is really beautiful that I really recommend are these Shimmering facial whips. These are $1, and it's basically like a cream blush / highlight. For me, it's more on the highlighting side. They're really beautiful. They're very creamy and they blend out. They have a lot of shimmer and reflect to them, so in that sense, they're a good highlighting product. But they're just beautiful. I love how they blend out. They're really pretty. What else was I gonna say? You can use these also not just on your cheeks, on your eyes or lips as well. I've heard that you can do that. So these are a very nice one to have. And then I wanted to quickly mention these all over color sticks, which are again really pretty. They are a little bit more difficult to work with because they come in a stick form, but you can't really wipe it on your face without wiping off your makeup. So I would use a stipple brush, like the e.l.f. small stipple brush, and get the color in there and then stipple that onto your face. Once again, these are very, very beautiful. What better way to roll into bronzers than to talk about these contouring blush and bronzers? Now, I have a bunch of these, and I will insert pictures of all the ones I have. e.l.f. has, I think, 3 of their original ones, which are both shimmery. So the bronzer and the blush are both shimmery. Then they have one that is all matte, and I was hoping when I heard that it would be good for contouring, but on my skin tone, this shade is not good for contouring. It's more of a warming up the face all over kind of a shade, which I don't mind my bronzers having shimmer in it for that purpose, but for contour, I don't want the shimmer. So, you know, this one isn't really, for my skin tone, that big of a hit. The blush is really pretty, though. That's a really pretty color for the blush, so that's my opinion on that one. Then they also have a contouring blush and bronzing cream version. This one is very warm. The bronzer and blush are both very warm toned, and I feel like for my skin tone, it's good for like a really light kind of a makeup look, and I feel like these are really pretty. In fact, all of those products that I was just talking about, those duos, even though they're called contouring blush and bronzer duos, none of them do I actually use for contouring. I'll use the bronzer to warm up my face, like the outer parts of my face, my forehead, and just kind of around there, and maybe even on the cheek area to warm it up, but I will not actually carve out my cheekbones with any of those bronzers because they're too shimmery and too warm, and it's just not the right type of product for a contour. I do have 3 of their bronzer sort of quads, I guess you could call them. They look like this, and this is a cool bronzer. This one is matte, so all of these shades are matte. It's kind of nice. It's nice that they have them separated, but I don't reach for this one as much. It's not my favorite formulation. It's a bit dry and powdery, kind of like those blushes. Then they also have a warm one and a golden one, and both of those are a little bit too light for me to be like all over face bronzers. They're nice for almost like a highlight more than anything, or a blush topper if I want to add some shimmer to a blush. These are nice for that, but as far as like warming up my whole face, they're a little bit too light for that purpose. Now, some bronzers that I absolutely love and would highly recommend. These are the Pressed Mineral Bronzers. They are a pressed powder bronzer, but they are not too powdery. They last a good long time. They blend into the skin beautifully. They warm up the face perfectly, and like I said, that sort of outer part of the face that you want to really warm up and add some dimension, these are perfect for that. I use these all the time. I have the shades Caramel Cabana and Beach Bronze, so I highly recommend these. Some more highlighting blush type products. These are their baked, so two of these are baked blushes and one of these is a baked highlighter, but they're all really highlighters on me because these products are so shimmery that I can't use it as a blush. It doesn't have enough of that rosy flushed look on my skin to look like a blush. You know, it doesn't look like I'm blushing. It looks like I just have shimmer. That's just my skin tone, so if you have significantly more fair skin than I do, these might be a beautiful blush on you, but for my skin tone, it's straight up highlighters. And as I've mentioned before, I'm not crazy about baked products, so these are a little bit too much work for me. I don't reach for them very often, but if you are comfortable with baked products, they are beautiful. They do have a beautiful color payoff. This is a studio blush in the shade Gotta Glow, and I mentioned the studio blushes before that I'm not crazy about them, but this one I really do like, and this is obviously I use it as a highlighter, and it just looks really pretty. It comes off really golden and warming, and it just gives you a nice beautiful glow, and I quite like this. I reach for this quite a lot, so you can see that I've used it quite a bit. I have the Shimmer Palette. This is kind of the same setup as the concealer palette, and it just has 4 different shimmer shades, and my understanding is that this is supposed to be for really anything. If you want to use it on your eyes to change the color of your eyeshadow, you can. You could probably put it on your lips, or you can, you know, dab it on your cheekbone with a finger. That works really well. I've done that before. If you want to sort of change the color of something, this works, but it also works on its own as a highlighter. So this is a nice sort of, if you want an array of colors, this is a nice option if you're comfortable working with cream products. Another cream product, this is another shimmering facial whip in the shade Spotlight. This is another one that's just a really great highlighting product. I like to squeeze it on the back of my hand and then use a stippling brush to apply it to my face, especially if I'm going for a all cream products kind of a look. You know, if it's in the winter or if you have really dry skin or whatever, if you just want to use more cream products, this is a really nice affordable option. I also have these mineral pearls, and these could really be more of a finishing powder than a highlighter. It comes with a little puff on top that I just dropped, but I would really use like a flat top brush or a Kabuki brush to apply this, and it just looks like this. The pearls in there are so beautiful. It's not that shimmery. Like I store it with my highlighters, but I might actually move it to my finishing powder drawer because it's more like a setting powder or a finishing powder, because it definitely gives you a glow. It's not something that's so intense that it can only be on your cheekbones. Like it would be a really beautiful all over type of glow as well. And then the last highlighting product is their Illuminating Palette. This is fairly new, I think. I was very excited to get my hands on it, and it just has 4 shades of highlighter. These are beautiful. They are very pigmented, so you don't need a heavy hand with them. They are very soft highlighters, comparable to the Hourglass Ambient Lighting highlighters, in the sense that they're not that super shimmery, like metallic look, but they have a very nice soft glow. They're a little bit more shimmery than the Hourglass powders, I have to say. I tried setting my under eyes with this shade here, and it didn't quite work, so maybe it'll work for you. I don't know. It was a little bit too shimmery for me, but they're really beautiful, and I love them just like all over the cheekbone area, blush, you know, area, just to make it pop. If you're a beginner and you're not comfortable with highlighters, this is a good place to start because it's kind of hard to mess these up. So definitely recommend this quad. Okay, now I just want to mention a few miscellaneous things. I have a few tools and other things. I want to talk about their nail polishes. I'm going to insert a picture of all the nail polishes that I currently own, and honestly, I have not had a lot of luck with their nail polishes. A lot of the ones that I currently own are minis that I got in a set, like a holiday set or something. because the full-size ones that I've gotten I have thrown away because all of the full-size ones I've purchased from their website have come to me completely clumpy and unusable, which was really disappointing. So I cannot recommend that you buy their nail polishes. Hopefully they've improved that situation. I don't know, but I'm not going to be buying any more from them. The mini nail polishes that I got at Target, you know, I didn't have that clumpy problem, but the formula is just not great. And I'm a nail polish fan. I like to paint my nails a lot. Every 2 or 3 days I'm doing my nails, and these just didn't cut it for me. They came on streaky. They chipped like within 12 hours, I would say they were chipping, and they're just very thin and not a great formula. I did find that the shimmery metallic shades were a little bit better than the non-shimmery shades, but in general, it's just not a brand of nail polish that I would really recommend. They do have some other nail care products that I like. They have this Cuticle oil pen. What is this called? It doesn't say what it's called on here, it just says white. But this is it's for like applying oil to your cuticle area to soften the cuticle, and if they get dry and cracked, it's really nice, and it's nice to have an affordable option for this. I also have this nail buffer, which, pretty standard, nice to have on hand. They also sell these cuticle pushers. I think they sell these in packs of 2 or 3, so it's a really good deal if you do your nails a lot and like to push your cuticles down. e.l.f. makes some really nice ones, and they have this little thing on the back too, which I don't know what that's for, but I use it. I mean, you can use it to like clean your nails or whatever purpose, but this is like a nice soft tip for cuticle pushing, so that's nice. One product that I do not recommend is these nail polish remover pads. These are a pack of 24 pads. It says they have a fresh citrus scent. I'm not even going to open it because it smells so atrocious. It does smell like citrus, like you can tell they tried to alter the scent, but you can still also smell the nail polish remover, and it's just really bad. And they don't work. They are these little thin, little round pads. I had to use probably at least 10 of them to remove all of the nail polish on my hands. I don't know if it's because the pads are too thin. Whatever it is, they just do not work. They were horrible. They smelled horrible, and I do not recommend these. I've seen them at the Dollar Tree lately, so maybe they're not selling that well, but I don't recommend them even for $1. Just no. I forgot to mention this guy when I talked about brushes in my lip and brush video. This is the retractable Kabuki brush. So it comes like this, the cap comes off, and then you slide this metal part down and you have a little Kabuki brush, and this is perfect for travel. I keep this usually in my travel bag, but I love this little guy. I just wanted to give a shout out to him because it's a really cute idea for travel. I also like these Shine Eraser oil blotting sheets. I don't use products like this a ton, frankly, because I'm not out of the house for long periods of time a lot, like I'm not in school or anything, but if you are and you need to do touch-ups during the day, this is a really great product to have. It's really inexpensive. I think they're $1. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're $1. So don't spend more money on more expensive ones because these ones are just perfect. Just dab them on. It shows kind of the T-zone there where you're supposed to apply it, but just dab it on. Don't wipe or you'll remove your makeup, but if you dab it on, it really helps soak up any oil in your skin and get rid of that shine. The bad kind of shine, not the highlight kind of shine, but the bad kind. I have this makeup mist in set, and this one is their original one. I know that they have a couple new ones. I think they have one that's supposed to be mattifying and one that's hydrating. I don't know, honestly, but this product was such a fail for me that I'm probably not going to try their other ones. I would be open to trying them, but I'm probably not going to just because this smelled really bad. It's supposed to have aloe, green tea, cucumber, and vitamins A, C, and E. I didn't feel like it made my makeup stay any better. I didn't feel like it made my makeup look any better. I just didn't notice anything good from it, and I used the whole bottle, so, but it's not something I will repurchase at all. One that I do like, a spray that I do like, this is their daily brush cleaner, and this smells so good. I love how this smells. It just smells so good. I don't know why. I don't know what it reminds me of. I just love the smell of this so much. I use this to spot clean my brushes, especially my eyeshadow brushes. If I do like a look that's heavy in color and I don't need to wash my brushes, but I want to just get the color out, I will use this product. So I will take this, I will lay my eyeshadow brush on top of like a hand towel or whatever I have reserved for cleaning my brushes, and I will spray this over it so that it goes on the brush and then the excess goes in the towel so that I can kind of wipe the brush into the towel and clean it out that way. So that's how I use this, but I definitely love this. I've repurchased this several times and I really like this guy. Another one I like is this e.l.f. Eye Refresh. This has a silver sort of cool metal ball on it, and you basically just roll this under your eyes or anywhere that you have puffiness, but I recommend under the eyes. And because of that cool ball, it feels really nice and soothing. I honestly don't know if it's doing anything, you know, any long-term benefits or anything like that, but in terms of like how it feels in the moment, it feels very nice. So I like this guy. Another old favorite is this Zit Zapper. This just has salicylic acid in it, I believe, is the active ingredient, and it just rolls on, and you can put it on anywhere you have, you know, a breakout, a pimple. I recommend, especially if you feel it coming on before you can see it, this is good for that. Or, you know, an overnight treatment, something like that. This is really a nice one. It's also nice to have on hand just in the car, in your makeup bag, anything like that. Really good deal. For $1, come on, yes. And then I'm accidentally ending on a negative note because my last product is this makeup remover pen, and this just did not work for me. This is at least the second one that I've gone through because I thought it was such a neat idea, but it doesn't do what it's supposed to do, and it's just like a felt tipped pen that is soaked with makeup remover, and it's supposed to be for like cleaning up your wing, or if you get mascara on your, you know, anywhere, like cleaning that up, that kind of a thing. The thing is, once you use this one time, the tip becomes black, as mine is now, and every time you use this after that first time, you're smearing blackness everywhere, and it's really frustrating. And I've heard that if you wipe it off immediately after you use it the first time, it's usable, but that didn't work for me. I tried wiping it off and it just didn't work. So this, unfortunately, is a fail. You know, makeup remover and a Q-tip work just fine for me, so that's the route I would go. But okay, guys, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you. Please give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and you think somebody else might enjoy it, because that helps people find it in the YouTube world. And let me know what your favorite e.l.f. products are. Let me know what your favorite blush face products are, or anything in general. And make sure you check out my other videos in this series. I will link them below. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss anything. I post videos Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And until next time, I will talk to you guys again very soon. Bye!